Hello, beautiful friends, and welcome to the Love Your Life show. It's Beverley here, and we are live from Peru. Yes, I am actually sitting in Peru right now. This is my hotel room, so excuse if the background isn't the most prettiest thing in the world, but we are talking about beauty today. So beauty is all from the inside, correct? And I've seen some beautiful things today in Peru, and today we're going to be speaking with Susan McNeece about beauty, the top 10 tips for being beautiful on the inside. And she's going to be going into quite a few things today, which I'm really excited about. She's also going to be taking us on a divine meditation. But let me just introduce you to Susan. She's been a leader in human development and consciousness evolution for over 20 years as an educator, coach, and performer. She produces a monthly storytelling event in San Francisco called Fireside. Susan has worked as an executive in the beauty industry for many, many years, and as a published writer and keynote speaker, she has hosted educational seminars and spoken at conferences worldwide. Susan is on a mission to expand true beauty consciousness globally. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Susan McNeece. Susan, yes.
Hi, Beverly. Thank you so much for having me on. This is such a wonderful experience and such a pleasure and a treat.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. And your story about beauty is actually quite a unique story. I remember when we spoke more recently, you told me your story. So I know that it's very, very powerful in that it explains why you do what you do and what your motivation is.
Yes, thank you. I think years ago, as a younger kid, we all go through braces and orthodontia, and we do these things to get these beautiful smiles. And for me, it actually ended up turning into a mishap. I guess you would call it a mishap, but yet it also led me on this very fascinating journey. And I ended up having, dislocated jaws, both sides, and we didn't know about it for years. So by the time we discovered what was going on, it was about 6 years later, there was a lot of damage that needed to be fixed. And so it was this long involved process. It was about a 2-year process of having to have these prosthetics in the face. And when we talk about prosthetics in the face too, it's a complete speech impediment. I had to teach myself to speak again, but also a total facial distortion. And with that, I looked completely abnormal in the way that people define normalcy and beauty. And it was interesting to see. This was my senior year of high school. Minor social times in our lives. So it was powerful, because here I went through a phase of having this facial deformity, having this severe speech impediment while I'm finishing high school, starting in and meeting new people in college. And it was interesting to see how people responded. And some people, they used the word retarded. They would ask my friends if I was retarded. Some people couldn't look at me. They didn't know how to talk to me. And so they would avoid it altogether. If it was something they didn't understand, they would avoid it altogether. I had a major identity crisis. How in the world? I just didn't trust people. And then I realized there were some people out there, though, who were amazing and brilliant. They saw right through it. It's like they didn't even see my face. They didn't see my skin. They didn't hear a speech impediment. They looked right through all of that and were able to see me from me. And I felt like royalty when I spoke with those people, because the difference, the contrast was so immense and so magnificent and amazing. And so then I had to go have surgery. And after they lined everything up and got it in this amazing place of the marvels of modern medicine, and I woke up and I had a new face. And they reconstructed my face. And I will never forget that moment. I would not look in a mirror until I could walk myself into the bathroom with the IV pole and stand in front of a mirror alone and look at a face and say, wow, this is how the world is going to see me now. And people are going to respond differently. And so it started this recognition of, how do I see myself, though? How do I resonate with beauty? Because I've seen people treat me and identify me and make assumptions about me in a lot of different ways based on how I looked. And so and interestingly, we leave the hospital, we're in the car ride home, and there are truckers honking, and now people are saying, "Hey, baby," and I was hot at that moment, but was that real? Was that, what was it meaningful and significant in the way that we make things so important? And so, I had to really reflect and go on a bit of a quest for myself as far as what is beauty? What is beauty, and how do I define beauty for me? And with that, it's been an unfolding journey over time, and I think it continues to unfold, and that's led me into the beauty industry. And here we've got all these amazing tools to help people feel good and look their best and radiate even more, but that's not enough. That's not really where it stems from. And so, that's when I started to define what is beauty.
Lovely. So that's such a beautiful story. And we've got some beautiful people in the room. I just want to give a quick shout out to all the beautiful people we have that have joined us today. So we have Mary, Tony, Stephanie, Barbara, and Arianna. And we've also got a little message from Tony who said, "Hello, beautiful angels, Susan and Beverley." So hello to you too, beautiful Tony. It's wonderful to have you on the show today with us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Hi, everybody.
Yes.
I know these are all beautiful beings, so I'm very excited to have you join us. Thank you.
Oh gosh, I can just feel what we're going to be getting up to today, and I'm so very, 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 very super excited. And it is quite true about what you say about beauty, because I remember when I was in high school, I also obviously had braces. I had very, very bad acne, and that, especially as a teenager in high school, it's so, I think a lot of teenagers have these issues or things that happen specifically in high school to kind of start to learn what their own beauty is. And I think some people stop themselves from being all that they can be because they think that they're not pretty enough, or they're not this enough, or not that enough. And some people use money, some people use weight, and there's a lot of people that use beauty.
Yes. Well, think too, I think our souls have this real draw for beauty. We desire beautiful things. We want to have experiences. That is part of the beauty of life, is to experience all of these things and to be able to process them. Look at, how we listen to music, how we are attracted to smells and fragrances. Look at nature. What an amazing story of beauty nature provides. The variety of shapes and colors, my gosh. The way that light reflects on water and just sparkles into this just shimmering brilliance, and to have, mountains and trees create these skylines against a blue sky and white billowy clouds. It's just phenomenal. Beautiful things are all around us. Beauty is who we are. Beauty is the love of who we are. And so, it's, for people to say that outer beauty is something we shouldn't, know it's only inner beauty. It's all of it. It's all of it. We do search, our souls search for beautiful things, but it's where are we coming from? And I think that the part that people get so lost in is when they get disconnected from themselves. They get disconnected from who they are and what makes them feel beautiful, what makes them connected to the love and the beauty of who they are. Well, then we start putting importance on what other people think of us. And that's when the identity crisis is all set in. I think there's a lot of us walking around with identity crisis constantly. And being in the beauty industry, I see it because people are searching externally for something that has been with them all the time. It's like having the ruby slippers like Dorothy and being able to, just click your heels. You're there. Take a few breaths. You're right there. So beauty is so expansive. There's even beauty in things that people might perceive as being hard or negative. There's so much beauty in all. And I think really being able to come back to connect to who we are, we can then discover the beauty that we see in others, and we see the beauty in all things and all that is around us. because we're connected to us, and therefore we're connected through those things too.
Wow. And also when seeing beauty, it is also a reflection of self, isn't it? Like when you can look at a sunset and go, oh my goodness, that's beautiful. The reason you can see that beauty is because it's a part of you. It's in you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It reminds us. I mean, how often, I think, you know, a lot of people, I know for myself especially, I love nature. I mean, I've spent a lot of time growing up in nature, and it instantly, when I walk outside and just sit and breathe and take it in, we sink right into it. It's such a great catalyst to connect us to the beauty and to the energy and the life of who we are. And so it's such a great example, and it's such a great place to go to reconnect.
Definitely, definitely. Okay, Susan, so are you gonna take us into this beauty, this meditation for us to start to connect with these tips and give us all of this lovely, juicy, beautiful information today?
Absolutely. You know, I look online and I see beauty tips, and it talks about mascara, and it talks about eyeshadow, and you know, all of these tools, which these are phenomenal tools. They're great. Sometimes they make us just feel a new color or a new radiance, but really, let's go to the core first. So if everybody would just join me, and we're going to start with some breathing. And I think, you know, just close your eyes for a moment and let's connect. And we'll take a few deep breaths, and let's breathe in to the count of 4, hold for 4, and then we'll release for 8. And we'll do that a few times to get us started. Okay? Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Okay, keep your eyes closed and let's just keep breathing. Just really focus on your breathing as you're listening. And I'm going to take you on a journey. So first, just keep breathing. Breathe in one more time. And breathe out. As you continue to breathe, let's just kind of ground ourselves. Just imagine light, a tree trunk, whatever it is, coming just from the base of your spine and just funneling straight through to the earth, through the center of the earth. And as we do so, just imagine our energy of our bodies expanding outward. Just your body opens up and your energy just exceeds beyond you 3 feet or so, just really opening, expanding, expanding. And breathe that in. Just breathe in the light of who you are. Let's bring in all the pieces of you that are still out in your day, with other people, with stuff, with things. And just imagine all of that coming in as golden light right through the top of your head as you breathe it in. Let's all just breathe ourselves back in, clean and clear and brilliant. Let's release all the ties, all the things. Imagine it flowing through all the way through your head, your shoulders, your body, down all the way to your toes. You can twinkle your little toes down there as the light funnels through. Let's bring in light and bring in one more round of just bringing in all of us, more and more and more of us, just through the top of our head. Light comes funneling in. And extends through us and out of us and beyond us as we connect through all things. And now bring in all the beauty that you know in the world, what are the things that are most beautiful to you? What inspires you? How much beauty could you possibly experience? Let's bring it in. As we continue to breathe, let's also bring in some playfulness with it. Because I find with beauty, there's a lot of creativity and playfulness and fun as well. Now I want you to reflect and go to a place where you've been your happiest. Where is a moment in your life, in your space, where you just see yourself smiling, you're beaming. It's a place that you've had some of your fondest memories. Really breathe that in. What are you feeling? What are you seeing? What do you smell? What does it feel like? And bring all of that in. Is somebody with you? Are you just watching something on your own? You're hearing sounds around you. So breathe that in again and really just take in that energy. Okay, so now let's open our eyes. As we are open, we are beautiful, we are radiant, we are playful. And let's talk about that connection and how do we keep this connection open? Because when we're connected to who we are, when we're connected to our brilliance, to our light, to our fun, that is the beauty. And from there, it comes into listening to our soul's desires, listening to our bodies, listening to ourselves about who we are in the world, no matter what else is going on. And what we will find is from the mirror that we see, by putting out and connecting through here, the vision that we see in the world around us becomes far more beautiful, and we feel beautiful, and we are beautiful. So should we talk about some beauty tips?
Oh yes, please. That was beautiful. That's the word that definitely describes that feeling. I don't know if any of you in the call you wanna give us some of your feedback of what you felt and what you experienced there, because that really, it also felt quite expansive. It felt like there was just like this whole, everything just felt like this beauty bubble around me, which was quite a nice kind of sensation. It was almost as if as I'm walking, everything just turns into being beautiful. If that kind of makes any sense. It's like almost it's black and white, and then it becomes full on color as I'm moving into the space, which is quite an interesting way of seeing it.
And what was the color like? I am curious to hear from people too. What did you see? What did you feel? What was there for you?
Yes. Go on. Give us some of your love and give us some of your beauty stuff in there. Okay, so I think we'll get some people writing some information in now. It usually takes a little bit of time for everyone to go, oh, they want me to type something? Let me think about that quickly.
I know, all of a sudden, like, now, but wait, I'm just going to be beautiful.
Yes. So yes, definitely. I feel that, definitely. So let us know some of your tips, Susan.
Well, first and foremost, breathing. I mean, going through this is the reminder to breathe, because we breathe in more of who we are, and we breathe in more of the best way to just, it only takes one breath. And if you get 3, wow. And if you get 7, oh my gosh. It's really start there. And it's funny that it's something that we all talk about, but we can catch ourselves in our days holding our breath.
Yes.
So that is definitely an instant doorway into the beauty of who you are. Also, since we started talking about, you know, on this journey and going on this journey together and finding your favorite place, make a list of all the things you really love to do, the things that inspire you, the things that, you know, you feel alive and fulfilled doing. It can be dance or movement. It can be listening to energizing music or playing music. It could be hiking or spending time in nature, since we talked about nature, gardening, a soak in a bath, playing. And it doesn't have to be something that you have to, you know, stop everything and go do. You can dance while you're mopping the floor, right? You can play and you can have fun in so many ways. But you know, what are the things? And that's a way, by making this list for yourself, it's a great way to go inside and ask yourself what makes you feel alive and what makes you thrive beyond what anybody else thinks or says, or we should, or we could. What makes you thrive and what feels good to you? And when we have a list, it's so great that then if you have a moment that you're not feeling so beautiful, the world's not feeling so beautiful, it's something you can do that you know brings you to life. Maybe doing cartwheels, or, you know, rolling down a hill, or whatever it is, but you kind of have your go-to source that helps you.
Yeah, I like that.
Right?
Yes.
So,
and Arianna, before you go further, I want to just mention Arianna's got something that she's just brought through. So fun as a child again on the farm with an orange popsicle on the top of the swing set. Poplar trees to my right. My sister, just got another one there. My sister with me. Scamp, the farm dog, was swatting at our feet to see if we drop our popsicles in our laughter and joy. And then Tony's also got one. I felt my whole divinity come back to me. My child is so happy to be loved, and saw an amazing rainbow colors of light while I was at the beach swimming with the dolphins. Wow, Arianna, I love that. I love both of those. But you can imagine a dog, right? Like sitting there going, drop the popsicle, drop the popsicle, drop the popsicle.
I know, and us as kids, thank you, Arianna and Tony, because I feel just hearing your stories, I was right there with you instantly. You as a little child too, playing with the popsicle, like with the dog. Oh, try it, and then you drop it, the dog's like, yes. So playfulness and that feels amazing. That's beautiful. So thank you so much for that.
Wow. And you know what's also interesting, Susan, is I was just thinking about places that you be that you don't think about beauty. And I did a yoga class a couple of days ago, and obviously in the yoga class, specifically the Bikram one, it's like you look at yourself in the mirror, you like straight, you like don't say anything. It's like there's like not really much of the joy aspect in that environment, and I don't see it as like beautiful when I'm doing it. But it was interesting that at the end of the class, one of the women came up and she's, oh, you've got such a beautiful yoga. Like, no, she said, that was beautiful. And I said, yes, that felt really good. And she said, no, your yoga was just beautiful. It was wonderful to watch. I was like, you watching me do my yoga? Like, you know, I would never think of it being beautiful, you know?
Right.
So it was interesting that you just said that. You'd never think of something being beautiful, and it brought that memory back to my mind. And I think, wow, what if I could bring beautiful into my yoga class, you know, my yoga postures, which would be quite cool, yeah?
Yeah, you should see, I spend a decent amount of time in the car getting around, and I have some long drives, and sometimes it's in traffic, and that would bog most people down. I have friends who I think have Tourette's when it comes to being in the car. All of a sudden start yelling, you know, randomly. And for me, it's funny because I'm like, all right, I'm going to yell. I'm going to play. I'm going to sing. I have dance parties in my car. I love to see what people driving by, if they are anywhere near me, you know, I'm going to change I'm going to make driving beautiful. And I'm going to change the dynamic of a commute, because it's fun. And when I actually get to work, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I'm walking in my door already on fire and just having fun. And it's about bringing this through in any situation or scenario whenever you get a chance. And sometimes having the tools to get there just helps so much.
Helps so much. And I've got one from Stephanie as well. My inspiration are my friends. But it was interesting for me because when I went to that really happy place, it was running by myself in the forest. It is my people like you, it is my people and like you, Susan. Oh, it is my people. There we go. I got that eventually, didn't I, Stephanie? And like you, Susan, nature. I feel peace. Thank you for getting me there. So that was beautiful as well. Yes, nature.
Absolutely. It's gosh, and it's around us everywhere. That's the amazing part. Even in cities there's trees and there's potted plants and there's always something that reminds us, you know, it sounds so cliche, but there's a reason people talk about stopping to smell the flowers, right? So yes, thank you so much for that, Stephanie. And I know for me too, like I love being with people, but I also love being alone and recharging my batteries in a different way. And there's so many ways to do it. And that's, you know, a beautiful part of it.
And trees are people too.
Exactly. They like hugs. They're the most proudest people you'll ever meet. So true. Okay, so are you ready for our next beauty tip?
Yes.
Okay, so, you know, sometimes I remind, like, step back and look at the glasses that you are viewing the world through. You know, what influences surround you every day? If it's television, if it's media, if it's toxic people, if it's, you know, what surrounds you and what do we allow ourselves, what do we put ourselves into that kind of tint or shade the filters of our lenses that we look at the world through. So, you know, if we look at that, then how do we shift those lenses? And part of it can be the playfulness that we were talking about, but it's also then recognizing, oh my gosh, if I'm looking at, is this mine or is this the world's, and whose lenses am I looking through right now? And then be able to kind of filter in, how would I change this? And that's a moment to pull in either a playful moment or surround yourself with more inspiring messages from other people. You know, if the news right now is bothering you, what is it about it that bothers you? And so what would you like to be inspired by as the next evolution of that? And let's read about that. Let's play with that. Let's talk to people about that. But let's bring through that beauty energy within it by recognizing what's around us.
Amazing. I love that. And you know what's interesting as well? Sorry. Okay. I just thought of something. We in South Africa, we had a twister, you know, one of those tornadoes. And very interesting is that on the news, it was like devastating tornado. Now we don't have tornadoes in South Africa. We don't have them. Not in the 33 years I've lived in South Africa have I ever even heard of a tornado happening, right? And on the news, devastating tornado hits Johannesburg. And you know, the funny thing is it wasn't really devastating if I think about it. It did kind of mess up a shopping center a little bit, but it wasn't like, you know, they had people who took videos and it was like this little, but it was really beautiful. It was actually beautiful in that it was a tornado. I mean, how magnificent are those tornadoes and twisters in nature? And yet when you look at the media, it immediately portrays it as, and then actually if you look at it from a different perspective, you can see how beautiful and how magnificent and majestic it was.
Yeah, you know, that kind of also leads into our next step. And I think it's, well, I'll mention, I just lost my father, and Beverly, you know that, and I think some other people on this call may know that, but I just lost my father, and it's such a journey. There's been so much beauty in that as well. I mean, some of the visions and some of the experiences through it, the gratitude, there's so many layers, and it's so deep, and it's so powerful. And one of the things that I realized too, I feel like, you know, there's multiples of me walking around, and there's the emotional side that at any moment, it could be somebody could just drop a pin on the ground and I'll burst into tears, or some random huge emotion comes out. And the next minute, my body ready to go throw up. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, it needs to heave over. It just needs to cry, it can slow down and go to bed and be in bed. And then the next moment, I feel like there's, you know, the spiritual side of me, the connection to higher self that's like, oh my gosh, look at all the beauty, look at all the gifts, look at everything that's going on. And my head has been spinning there trying to go, well, wait, let's figure this out. Let's get it all figured out and ironed out and try to get our head around it. And then it's like, actually, I'm blown. I have nowhere to go with this. So it's just kind of quieting down in the back. But what it reminds me to is to be gentle with ourselves and be kind to ourselves. And we don't need to judge ourselves. We can jump into the moments wherever we are. I mean, this is a deep moment. It's a big moment, but it's still powerful and beautiful, and it's a part of who I am. And so in being kind and gentle to myself, that's listening to my body. Okay, body, you're feeling this right now. What would make you feel delightful? What would soothe you? What would inspire you? What would make you feel good? And then that brings beauty into the body. And it's the same emotional part. Okay, if we need to cry, or if we need to laugh, or if we need to scream, let's go there and let's bring it out. And you know, I even sat in my car one day and was like, cry, 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 because I was crying, and then I was like, okay, let's just do rage. And all these emotions became very funny all of a sudden, and it just shifted it. You know, I was able to go through it and shift it by just calling it out and saying, okay, this is what it is. And so, you know, but I think being kind and gentle to ourselves, we are so easily compassionate and care for other people. But how much can we really be compassionate and really experience the beauty of others if we're not kind and compassionate and gentle with ourselves?
Definitely.
And so, you know, go back to the breathing and the playfulness and the fun, but it filters into this, that when, you know, just love ourselves and be gentle, regardless of what anything else is going on in the world. We can still be good to ourselves.
Definitely, I love that. And you know, it resonates on so many different levels, because I think we kind of get programmed and taught to put ourselves last. And I mean, especially women get taught your children come first, or your husband comes first, or, you know, your family comes first. And like, I mean, I've worked with a lot of women in the last 7 years with regards to, you know, giving stuff back to yourself. And so many women, it actually almost feels like you're sinning, or you feel guilty when you go have a massage or give yourself, you know, some time for yourself. Women almost feel guilty about it because they're so deeply programmed that it's not okay to do that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, and there is so, especially with women too, that sense of worth. And that comes again from letting other people define us, needing other people to like, if they think we're beautiful, we're beautiful. But how do they even define beauty? You know, how does that even occur? So I think it is true. You know, if you need to go stretch, if you need to eat something more calming and soothing, if you just, you know, and the more we connect in and really just build an awareness and a connection to ourselves, the more we are doing and being in the world from ourselves. And so I think, you know, that's that piece of then beauty is defined by who we are, and we are beautiful. As soon as we know it and we believe it, you know, I think that is where beauty comes in. It's us. Oh, go ahead.
No, Barbara, she's just said, so beautiful that you can be open to be present with all of that and to share it with us. So that's also a beautiful gift that you've just given us right here today.
Thank you, Barbara. Yes, it's what a journey. What a journey life is. And the beauty is that we do get to all share together. That's what makes it so magnificent. You know, It's funny. I have a painting behind me. I'm not sure if you can see it.
Yeah.
But
It looks like an angel with little angel wings.
yes, and one of my guides. I have friends in high places.
Oh wow.
But it reminds me. We all do. It just reminds me, and I've had these reminders through my recent experience as well. Is even though some processes are things that we need to go in and we need to go be with ourselves, we're never alone. And then the oneness in that, and to be able to share. So thank you for that too, because having a platform and having an open, loving, supportive environment of people to bring yourself into is such a gift too. It's the oneness of that is profound.
Mm-hmm. Love it. I love it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So as we are talking about taking care of ourselves and talking about doing beautiful things for ourselves, let's play with color in our wardrobe. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people teasing me recently about wearing a lot of black. And I'm like,
Oh wow.
it's easy. I can just, everything matches in my wardrobe if I'm wearing black. But, I just have recently really been just playing with color so much more, and not just reading about the significance of colors. There's so much information about the symbolism of color and what it is, but looking at it on you and looking at how you radiate in a new way based on the colors you wear and what reflects. And it's fun because it's almost then that you get to change your lens and just see have fun with how the world responds, because you know why you are bringing you through it. And it's funny because sometimes I'll put on a color and I'm like, yeah, that's maybe not a good color for me. and I say that in the sense that it's a beautiful color, but I'm feeling one thing and I am totally jiving with it, and people are looking at me like,
Yeah.
And so it brings humor and fun into it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I put on another color, and it's like, wow, just the vibration of that. So that's been so much fun to play with as well. How I do think that there are these amazing beauty tools. I've worked in the skincare industry more specifically, and around health and nutrition and a lot of areas within beauty. But I've worked within skincare for a long time, and here are these beautiful tools. I mean, what a great way to nurture yourself, to take time to sit and say, I'm going to polish my skin today. I'm going to love my skin. I'm going to sit and have a ritual where I splash water on it or soak in a bath. And wow, my skin is radiant and glowing from that. And it further supports what you're bringing. Mm-hmm. And so there's amazing tools in the world, but it's really about what resonates with you to do. It's one thing to go buy products and feel like, oh my God, is it working? Is it making me more pretty? Is it making me more beautiful? And that's counting on this tool to be your beauty, as opposed to a tool to support your beauty, so that it's just the whole process, the whole ritual helps you radiate that much more and that much bigger. Yeah.
I love that. I think that is just that and that's so true, because I think sometimes people misunderstand, I think sometimes, with beauty products, where it becomes about the beauty product. For example, I'm using XYZ brand because that's going to make me more beautiful, versus I am already beautiful, I'm just enhancing my natural beauty, or adding a bit of color, like a bit of blush onto your cheeks or something like that. And that's just perfect as well. Yes.
Yeah, and it feels good. If you feel good doing it, and if on a day that you don't feel good doing it, don't do it. It's really about that connection. But there are amazing tools, and when we see them as tools as opposed to our driving force that defines us, it's a different shift. And the best way to get to it is to come back and to connect at the core and to find beauty within. It's amazing because we're talking about beauty products, but really I mean, when you look at, and you know, looking at you, Bev, your face and your radiance and your glow, a smile on your face brings so much radiant beauty and youthfulness. And, you know, is it really about a line or a wrinkle? That's just wisdom.
No, yes, I like that. That's another wisdom wrinkle. Yes.
Exactly.
We can call them WWs, not WWs. It's a wisdom wrinkle. Wisdom, a wisdom wrinkle.
That's right. W squared.
Yeah. Instead of words, instead of words of wisdom, wrinkles of wisdom.
Right. You know, it's our experiences, it's those moments. Every wrinkle I feel proud of. Like, I remember when you showed up, because they never could, like, tell you, I'm coming. Yeah. It's just somewhere in the middle of the night, a little part of you goes, and then there's the wrinkle, right? And it seems like, or there's that gray hair, right? It's like, remember that experience you had? Bing! Here's your little reminder. And
yes.
fabulous. Like these, you know, we have to have fun with it, because it's a part of who we are. It's our experiences. It's our wisdom. You know, that's another thing that people judge is age as part of beauty, and really, you know, with age comes wisdom. It's you know, such a stretch of youthfulness brings newness and innovation and unique ideas, and with age comes all of this wisdom and grace and knowledge and power that and patience that comes through, you know. And so that's part of the beauty of the oneness too, is to be able to share that in order for all to expand and grow and kind of ignite more things across the spectrum. So it is funny how age is perceived in the realm of beauty, but maybe we need to redefine it. Would we all agree to redefine it?
Definitely. It's not gray hair, it's now silver sparkles.
Exactly. It's glitter. It's just our shining glitters, sparkles and shines. Yes. And you know what? Truly, and if you want to color your hair, whether you like gray or you want to be blue today or you want to be green, whatever that is that makes you feel radiant and shining, you can change it as much as you want. Hair is a beautiful thing that you can change all the time. It's really, it just keeps growing and it keeps changing, and what a fun playground. Yes. So, but again, what elements are we using to define beauty, and therefore what judgments do we place based on how we think we stack up according to those standards or what we perceive, and that's where media too can portray things. I love that there's so much more media right now, you know, that there's plus size models, and I'm seeing more even on Facebook posts of these really sassy older people in funky outfits, and really just the beauty that shines through them in their color and their style and their unique expression of themselves in the world, in the use of their tools, and just going for it, you know, just going for it, and being willing to be bold.
And you know what else is so interesting? I just remembered now, there was something that Dove soap did a couple of years ago. I don't know how long ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where they had women that were drawn, an artist drew these women, and all that the artist had was the woman had to describe herself to the artist. So the artist couldn't see her face. She had to describe how she saw herself to the artist. And then the artist drew as she mentioned it. And then they had someone else who came and saw the woman and then mentioned to the artist and told the artist what they saw in the woman and how they saw her face. And you can see the two pictures where she saw her face. It was like she had more wrinkles, or she was more gray, or she looked more tired and withdrawn. And the picture that the other people had perceived these women as was like totally different. They had longer hair, they had a smile on their face, their eyes were more glowing. So it was very interesting for these women to look and see the way that they saw themselves and the way that another person saw them. And most of these women were brought to tears because they recognized how mean they've actually been to themselves, and how they don't see themselves as they truly are. They've got this, like you said, these maybe black colored glasses or green colored glasses. I think that we've lost Susan. She's coming back. Susan, we lost you for like 2 seconds, and then you came back. You was like, off and on. I'm like, oh no.
I heard something fantastic about these sketches, but then I didn't hear really about it. Do you mind just giving me a brief story?
With pleasure. With pleasure. So what happened was it was like a campaign that Dove had, and they basically had these women sit, and as they were sitting, they had the artist couldn't see them, so they were sitting with their back to the artist, and they had to explain to the artist how they looked according to their own point of view of how they looked. So explain their hair, their eyes, their whatever. And then they had another person who explained these women to the artist. So they'd seen the woman and they explained to the artist. And they had the two pictures, and they showed these women these two pictures. And the one picture that the woman had described herself to the artist, almost all of them either looked more overweight, or they looked more tired, or they looked like their hair was a mess, or whatever. It just looked more like that wasn't as beautiful as the picture that had been given by the person who had seen them and told the artist what they saw, which is quite interesting, because when they saw these pictures, they went, oh, and they recognized how their perception of themselves is not necessarily the perception of how the world sees them. Their perception of themselves is maybe a lot worse, and they are quite a bit more mean about their appearance than how other people see them. And a lot of them were brought to tears by that as well.
Yeah, it's so interesting, because if we could sometimes see ourselves the way people see us, because we all are beautiful, it's just knowing it for ourselves, but we all have such amazing beauty, and it's about us being able to see it for ourselves. We need to clean the lenses. When we were talking about what kind of glasses are you looking through, because sometimes, I look at people and I'm like, oh my gosh, this magnificent person, and look how she radiates and look how she shines. And then you start talking to her or him or whoever it is, and they start talking about the things that are not good with them. And these layers of things that we put in the way, that kind of those filters and those pieces, whether it's something we've been taught or something we learned. But if we could just go through and clean our lenses, and so that really we can shine through and we can see that reflection back, because sometimes people are reflecting beautiful things back to us, and we see it as them, but we don't actually realize that it's us.
Exactly. I love that. And it just is so on point.
Yes. So I would also love to hear from others too, like some of the things that you do to feel beautiful. What are the things that you do already for yourself to feel beautiful?
Yeah, tell us, let us know in the chat. That's great. And Steph, Tony's saying yes. I don't know when she said yes, but I'm sure she said yes to everything. Thanks, Tony. And then Stephanie has also said she loved the sketch story. I know that's also one of my favorite kind of stories, and it gives you an idea of how sometimes we can be so mean to ourselves, right? And I can just say, for me, one of my favorite things to do for myself is to make me feel beautiful, or that allows me to recognize more of my beauty, is a lovely divine massage. I've booked one after the show today, so I'm gonna go for a massage, and that's one of my favorite things to do, definitely.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm gonna go do that now too. Thank you for that.
Yes. Who else is going to join us? Who else is going to join us for the massage after the show? I think that's a good idea. I think we should all pitch together and say, yeah, we're all going to go have a massage and feel beautiful after the show. Yeah.
Hey, that's what you're called to do,
So, if
Absolutely.
you'd like to share in the chat with us, what is one of your things that you love to do to assist you to feel beautiful? Another little story I have, there was a woman that came and visited us, it was a couple of weeks ago, and she came to have some vegan food with us, because obviously Joe and myself, we're vegan. And she said one of the things that she's done, because she's recently divorced, and she never did this for herself the whole time while she was married. And after she got divorced, she said, well, one of the things she decided to do, because she was very, very, very overweight, and she hated herself. She felt like she was just not a beautiful person at all. And even with that weight, she decided she was going to give herself a flower bath every night, and she would lather herself up and just love every part of her body, no matter where the weight was. And she would just say, feet, I love you. Toes, I love you. Calves, I love you. As she was washing every part of her body, she was just telling her body how much she loved herself. And she did actually lose quite a lot of weight. And she's also become a vegan now. And she's loving her new lifestyle. But she said the thing that changed it for her was definitely those baths. She said that is the thing that saved her, because it gave her that spark back in her life. And it gave her to start being able to love herself again, where she felt like she was unlovable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. It's funny. I love those kinds of things, like loving your body. And I have a whiteboard near my door. Okay, and you walk in the front door, you're walking on your way out, and there's this whiteboard, and I'll put different messages up there. Sometimes it's surrounded by a metal gong that's hanging from the ceiling and some crystal bowls. And it's perfect because I'll put something that I really want to remind myself. Right now, it says, you are so beautiful. And some days it might be an idea, or, asking yourself, because this is another thing. I like to put a question on the board. How much beauty can I possibly experience today?
Wow, I love that one. Oh, that's a delicious one. That's a delicious question.
How much joy could I possibly experience today? And I put it on the board, and I'll play the crystal ball for a second and just vibrate with that, put it out there. And it's amazing when I'm walking out the door and I'm seeing that, and it starts my day that way. And so then I'm seeing beauty, I'm seeing joy. It's amazing because I've put myself into how much can I experience it, how much can I see it, and it's all of a sudden surrounding me. And I come in at the end of the day, and there's the board, and it's saying its question or its message, and I just stop and think, wow, my day was beautiful. And then I have a moment of gratitude of, oh my gosh, that was amazing. Or wow, how could, if I had something that came up that wasn't quite, I didn't quite get it, or something felt a little thorny or prickly about it, I'd stop and look, where is the beauty in that?
Yes.
And then it shifts my whole day. And what a great way to come in, to be at home, to have an evening, prepare food, to do the things for you, maybe dance, have a dance party in the living room. But it's,
Barbara likes the dancing. Barbara enjoys the dance. She says she loves massages and dance. And Tony said she's already had her massage for the day. So I think the dancing thing definitely is a popular one, right?
Well, no wonder you're feeling so beautiful, Tony. You're ahead of you were already there.
Yay!
The doorway for us. Oh, that's awesome. But it's that that level of taking moments to set your day, set an intention for your day, and that's a beautiful thing too. To wake up, and today is going to be about beauty. Today is going to be about love. Today is going to be about playfulness. Today is going to be about joy. And maybe it is even today is going to be a day about, about moving forward, or, I'm going to expand my business today. I'm going to do things that are going to help me expand this beauty through work. Or how many, so as opposed to, so one day my question might be, how much beauty can I possibly enjoy today? And my next day might be, how much beauty can I possibly share today?
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great. I love that. That is one. I think that's probably my favorite tip so far. How many have we got to go, Susan? Have we got another 4 more? I think, are we on 4 more to go now, or?
I think, you know what, based on time, I really love where the conversation is, and
okay, cool.
You know, our next session is to go through more beauty tips and more ways to find and discover beauty, and it's something that I am always working on, and it's something that I coach to, for people to find the beauty in themselves, to identify with them, and therefore see themselves in others. And so, you know, we could go on and make a list of 500 things really to do for beauty.
I like that. I like that. But I tell you what, that last one that you just mentioned, that question, and asking how much beauty could I possibly receive today? How much beauty could I possibly give today? How much beauty could I bring into my business today? I mean, if you think about it, sometimes with business, it does sort of feels like it's this linear, gotta get this done, this, and then start again, and like you want to, you know, it's not a very pretty situation. But if you can choose to bring beauty into your business and say, well, how could this be beautiful? How could it be beautiful when I have to capture people's name? You know, that kind of thing. Like, you know, whatever your job is or your work is, it would be, or your business is, it would be great to allow yourself that gift, because actually it is a gift. When you allow yourself to see the beauty, it's a gift you're giving to yourself.
Yes, yes. It's, you know, one of the things that I learned about business too, and it's great that we're kind of talking about the work level, because sometimes I think we feel like, I can feel beautiful when I'm in nature, I can feel beautiful when I'm in these places, but then I go to work.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, then I go to work, and now I'm in this other space, and this does not feel beautiful at all. Yes. And so, you know, one of the things somebody had taught me when I was young, and I'm so grateful for it, they shared this insight, was that really when you connect in the ways that we have been through this call and this show, to yourself and to the beauty of who you are, then what is your vision for yourself? What do you feel so passionate about bringing into the world? And when we look at that and we know that, and what talents and gifts do I have to share this vision in the world? And then that becomes our litmus. So if I'm taking jobs or I'm considering things, and I'm saying, does this allow me to share my gifts? Does this allow me to connect to that vision? If yes, and it feels expansive, I'm going in there. And I actually work in a corporate environment. I'm in a senior management team, you know, within the beauty industry, but I actually love my job. I also love coaching. I coach within this job. So I actually coach and educate and help people expand into new possibilities, new opportunities to growing in a corporate environment. You know, and I do it outside, and there are a lot of ways to express yourself, you know, through theatrical events and through shows like this.
Yes, the fireside that you have. That's
yes, and it's just other ways for people to share the beauty and the depth of who they are. And when you're connected to that, then it doesn't matter what environment you're in. And if I want to bring, you know, global beauty consciousness, if I am passionate about making the world, bringing more beauty into the world, the beauty's there. It's just for people to open, receive, and expand it. And if that's my passion, my mission, then my gosh, I'm in a great space. So when it's how can I share beauty today, how many different ways can I share beauty? And that starts opening opportunities and possibilities into new channels and new ways of doing things. And you will naturally have your own gift to bring through. And so again, it doesn't matter where you are, you're beautiful. And you will bring that beauty through at all times, in all places, and in all moments. So yes.
Wow. Thank you for that beautiful gift there, Susan. I really appreciate that. And I think everyone on the call has absolutely loved this call today. It's been so fun. And Tony's saying massages, walking on the beach in the morning, seeing the sunrise, and doing dancing tubs. Dancing tubs. Okay. And I don't know what a dancing tub is, but it sounds like it might be fun. Maybe in the jacuzzi, and you're like, or even the bath. dancing, maybe, I don't know. And also, how many times can I laugh today? That's another one from Tony. That's a great question as well. Like, how many times can I laugh today? Like, that's wonderful. Yeah, you know, you'll definitely be laughing a lot more. I was actually, funny thing is, sorry, my phone is just telling me that it's nearly the end of our call. So so my fiance, just a really funny one, is we went down to a market here in Peru, and he was carrying a rucksack because he was going to carry all of the stuff in his rucksack. And obviously a lot of people, well, everyone speaks Spanish here, so no one can really understand us because we're still learning Spanish. So he just went like this, Hijo, because he feels like a donkey. And she was finished. She was laughing so hard because she completely, even through the language barrier, she completely understood exactly what he was saying just by his energy and that one sound came out of his mouth. And for the next 15 minutes, as we're walking up the street, he's like, oh my God, this is hectic. You won't believe how heavy this is. I just couldn't stop laughing for like 5 minutes. People are looking at me like, what are you laughing about? I'm just laughing because it was so funny.
That's so bad. I can imagine it would be very fun to be a donkey. And you know, thank you, Tony, and thank you, Bev, too, because yes, laughing is contagious, and it's so good. That's brilliant. And you just got to Peru, didn't you? You just landed in Peru, so.
Yes. So obviously, because we're vegan, we had to go to the market because they don't really have a lot of vegan stuff around, I'll be honest. So we're going to be creating our own delicious dishes. Yes, there we go. That came out by itself. So we had to go and get fruit and vegetables, but it was just, yeah, it was really a funny experience. And it is, like I was saying to you before the call, Susan, here, it's so interesting because there's a lot of, it almost looks like there's a lot of poverty in some ways, but that doesn't disallow for the amount of beauty that's here. And that's really very interesting, is because even though things are like, there's some really, really old, like Inca, like dynasty stuff here, and you can feel the ancestry and the ancientness of it. And then you have like, there's like shacks and things where people are living in, obviously, which to us maybe doesn't seem very beautiful, but the way the contrast is there, it's like, it's something so bizarre. And then there's all these rainbow things all over the place. Like everything that they wear has got to do with the rainbow and luminous colors and color and color and color and color and color. So it's like you're surrounded by color, and it's just amazing. So yeah, it's just wonderful that you can see beauty in everything. And I love that you've brought that to the show. It was just fantastic. So thank you.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for attending.
Yay! Okay, so we're going to say a little goodbye now. So if you want to say goodbye in the chat, we're just about finished with the show. And I'd like to thank every single person for joining us today. It was really a pleasure, a beautiful pleasure to have you join us. And I'm going to hand over to Susan one last time just to say goodbye.
Thank you all so much. I mean, you are so beautiful. Let me say that. I know it. And I hope that you see the beauty in you, and the beauty in life, and the beauty of all that is. And so with that, go have a beautiful day.
Woohoo! Yay! Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Go have a beautiful day. Go get that massage. And we'll see you in season 2. Season 2 starts in September. So this is the end of season 1. If you'd like to watch any of the replays, they are all on the Facebook page at Love Your Life Show. So you can go and check them out. And you just basically click on the webinar link, the same one you would do to go into the normal webinar room, and the replay is there and available for you to go and watch it. So there's plenty of amazing things on the Love Your Life Show page. If you've missed any of the webinar of the shows, you're welcome to go and look at them there. So thank you, many blessings, have an amazingly wonderful day, and enjoy that massage. Lots of love.